Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Yo on the Go Profiles of Leadership, where we look underneath the hood of a performance vehicle to get a better understanding of what it means to be a leader and how a career can really shape that. Today, I have a special guest, David Pope from SAS, U.S. Energy Business Unit, solving business problems in the oil and gas and utilities industry. David Pope, Senior Manager. SAS is an analytics software powerhouse that provides unique AI-enabled solutions for their customers. The company is one of the world's largest, it is the largest privately held software business, and its software is used by most of the Fortune 500. David, thanks so much for having be on this program. Super excited to hear about your career. You have a very unique career in that SAS has been a company for about 40 years or so, and you've been part of that company for almost 30 years. Can you share with me your story of how you got started and where SAS is going in this company?
Sure, and I really appreciate the opportunity and being invited on. Uh, it is a unique aspect that the company was founded in 1976, so we're going on 45 years, and we've been profitable every year due to the leadership of our CEO, Dr. Goodnight. Uh, I know my career is a bit different nowadays because I've really had four different careers. I just chose to do it all within one company. So just a little bit about me. I got an industrial engineering degree from NC State, go Wolfpack, uh, and then a computer science programming certificate on top of that. So that's how I got into the world of big data analytics. SAS hired me initially as a technical student as I was pursuing a master's in computer science. After 6 months, they offered me a full-time job in R&D, and so I stopped my higher education and took the role to start my career in R&D at SAS, doing testing and programming. Uh, I then took the opportunity to work in Europe for SAS a couple years after that. So I moved into the national language translation area, which is actually ironic because unless it's a computer language, it's not my strength. But I didn't need to speak the different languages. I was helping the translators with the computer files. So I returned to the US after about a year and moved again into another position in R&D, working with the national language area in the US area of R&D. So I started using Unicode and all these, big data words uh, previous to big data even coming onto the scene. So that's my first career, was programming in C, in Java, and of course in SAS. Uh, then I moved into IT, so helping SAS run as a business with all sorts of different technologies, databases, software, integrating it with SAS. So that was my second career, and that was 4 or 5 years, six, something like that. I'd have to look at my LinkedIn profile. Uh, then I moved into what is now our cloud division, but at that point it was our hosted team, and I was an analytical consultant to help our customers solve their problems and do BI reporting. And I liked that so much. I realized I enjoyed talking to our customers and helping them. That's what moved me about 13 years ago to transition completely from a highly technical programming consulting type of role to being a pre-sales individual contributor. So a lot of people don't know what pre-sales is, but when I flipped over, I had to earn a whole new set of skills and learn them in order to be successful. And what pre-sales means is we're the technical people now, I would say, data scientists or technical architects that help support our sales into whatever industry. So when I first flipped over, I worked across all industries. So government, healthcare, financial services, energy, communications, media, you named it. So I got exposed to all sorts of different businesses, which was great. And in that career, I also moved into a principal technical architect, which meant that had to help our customers understand how analytics could integrate into their enterprise systems from an architectural back end perspective. And then finally, 8 years ago, roughly, I had the opportunity to build out my own pre-sales team. So that's what I'm doing now. I lead a team of data scientists and technical architects that help sell our solutions and our technology into utilities and oil and gas. So that's my career in a nutshell.
Wow, that's incredible. So you've really taken four different career pivots, and you've really put them into a single company where it's been fairly seamless in terms of all the things that you would normally think about in a company, benefits, vacation time, all that. But you have very different roles, and in that, a different career. Can you share a key moment in any one of those points in which those skill sets were just that right fit? I can see that as SaaS has changed along with the internet revolution, it's seen a lot of different pivots, and it seems like you've been in each of those. Can you share a pivotal moment in one of those times?
Sure. One of the things is, especially the pivot from into pre-sales from being purely more on the consulting or programming side. I had to learn a new skill set to be successful, and mainly around, improving my overall quote soft skills and communication skills.
Mm,
But once I learned that and took more training around that area, my background understanding from the data and the programming and what's happening on the backside really helped me excel in my pre-sales role, because not only could I talk about the back end and the technology, I could tie that to the business value that the technology and analytics gives. And that's a key combination to be successful in a pre-sales role, is understanding the ability to talk about business terms to the business people and
mhm,
still having the credibility with the analytical and technical people that you know what you're doing. So
mm.
I would say that combination in particular was one of the things that made me successful when I moved into the pre-sales role.
Hmm. So that's a very unique position, right? Because you're bridging the gap between these two disciplines. One's technical, one's sales. You need sales in order for the technical people to do more and push farther into that technology, but you need better technology to have an edge against your competitors. I'm curious to think in terms of your transition, that's a pretty big transition as a person. Do you miss doing the technical? How was it when you switched over from a technical role into a sales role and then now into a managerial role?
Well, yeah, I was about to say, from when you're in a pre-sales technical role, you're having to continue to do training. So you're always having to learn the new technology, the new solution, the new language that's coming out. Otherwise, you would be your skill set would become stale, and you would not be as useful in a sales situation. So one of the advantages of having the technical background, it did help me become successful in pre-sales eventually. But when you move over, you have to really sharpen up your communication and your soft skills, because you're working with a wide variety of people. Not only are you working with technical people, but you're also working with business people, executives, and you have to be able to talk their language, whichever one you're talking to have them understand the value of the technology and analytics. So one of the best courses I ever got to take uh, was a communications course on basically helping you to learn how to present better. And the communications that I learned in that not only helped me become more successful in pre-sales, but it helped me communicate better in life in general. So
Mm,
it's not that pre-sales is a technical role, so you get to keep using your technical skills in it, but you just have to learn that you're going to be communicating the value and how best to do that. You're not going to be coding every day from 9 to 5, but you will be coding, to do demonstrations and showing how the technology works.
Hmm. It's amazing how the gains that you have in your career affect your personal life and then vice versa. That it's not a single separate entity, but it's really intertwined in your being. And so a lot of what you've grown as a leader in SaaS has really been part of that in your life. Can you share a little bit about that? You're sharing how it has influenced your life. Can you share a
Oh,
little bit
sure.
about
Yeah, sure. So again, one of the nice things, and one of the reasons why I've worked at SAS as long as I have, is the culture and the true work-life balance. Uh, I've actually told people, if you're going to work, you know 80 hours, 90 hours a week, and you're not going to take advantage of some of the benefits, such as the gym, and self-training and other things like that, you should work for someone else. That doesn't mean that we don't work hard, but we also understand how important it is not to burn people out. So some of the communication skills that I've learned to interact and be better at the pre-sales and technical role has also just helped me communicate and be more empathetic with, like, for example, raising my kids and learning to understand communication in general better. So that, I would say, that really helped me. That and my wife helped me with my communication skills too.
Wow, that's great. I'm curious to ask you, since you mentioned about leading others toward that future, do you see that same path that you have had working at SaaS for 30 years? Do you see that both in SaaS as well as the rest of the industry? Because we're hearing a lot, right? Everybody's saying, oh, you need to move every 2 years to different companies. You need to have a jungle gym sort of career and not a singular focused career at a specific company. You said that you've had 4 different careers in a single company. Can you give me some insight into what the next generation is seeing and whether your path is a very valid path for others?
Well, again, I would say everyone has their own different paths in their life journey, right? Uh, I know my particular path probably wouldn't be applicable to a lot of people, uh, simply because, again, changing from one job to another is another different kind of challenge, right? I just happened to choose to do that challenge, and I made it work within the same company. Some people might want to change complete industries, right? That's one of the
Mhm.
things uh, that has kept me at SAS for so long, is data analytics and continuing to have to learn, and focusing on different industries. So my particular path has been very varied, even though I've stayed within one company. There's still quite a lot of people at SAS that have been at SAS longer than I have. And there are, new people that we're onboarding all the time that you never know. You might have a plan to be here, 4 or 5 years, and it turns into a career, and you stay because the culture and the people you work with in particular, they're smart, they're all bright, everyone wants to do well. So from that perspective, a few people may do the kind of, one company career that I have, but I'd say the majority of people in particular now, they're going to move around, because sometimes, again, this is the pros and cons. Sometimes that's a way to accelerate your move from an individual contributor into management, is making a move from one company to the other, because that's just sometimes how the world works. Does that make
Hmm.
sense?
No, that makes sense. As you said, mentioned before, because it is flat, you may not have opportunities at this particular time to move into a position of management, but it
Right.
still allows you to become a leader and to learn all of those different skill sets that what a true leader is, not just having that title. And then either assuming that title in this company, or maybe if there is an opportunity to go somewhere else to work that in a different industry. Yeah, that definitely, I think those things need to be looked at. But there's also a lot of different things, right, in life that come about, things that you don't expect to to
Right.
come and hit you, and you have to be resilient to that. You have to be robust to those
Yeah,
changes.
sort of like
Yeah,
COVID, like
it's like
we're all
COVID.
living right now.
Yes,
Which
yes.
again, that it's interesting because using data analytics to help across
Mm,
all industries. So you might think about how SaaS has helped various hospitals. You can actually go out to our website and use SaaS to analyze COVID data yourself. In the cloud. Uh, but some of the folks on my team, and I had some conversations with utility customers where they were using analytics to analyze the impact on their workforce. So that's one things I really like about energy is if you think about it, it's the foundation for all the other societies and industry. If we
mhm.
don't have electricity now, everything else doesn't work. So that's one of the things I enjoy about working in the energy space.
There's always that joke, right? That if you lose the internet, you're back to 1990, but if you lose power, you're back to 1890.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
absolutely. So, David, this was really, really good to have you here on this program. Really appreciate your time. Thank you for your insights in a career that has multiple careers inside a single company, inside a span. That's a really great archetype to strive for. I myself had that in my previous company, 16 years, 3 different careers. So super excited to hear that this is a great path and something that people should look into for their next. They need to have a good culture, a company that has a good culture that enables that, that has a lot of good teaching and mentorship built in. So thank you
Yep.
so much for your time.
All right. Well, I really appreciate again the opportunity, and it was great to meet you, Terrence.
Thank you. Same here. And for those who are watching, until next time, bye.